Hey everybody, welcome back to Living in Chicago. Today we have such a special video for you. We are going to go over the cost of living in the Chicagoland area in 2024. So this is updated for this year. Inflation absolutely killed all of us in 2023. So is it even affordable to live in Chicago anymore? We're going to discover all of that and much more in today's video. So the reason why we love Chicago is that everybody is here. This is the land of opportunity. Just in the Chicago area, just the city itself, we have 3 million people. And in the broader Chicagoland area, we have almost 10 million people. Wow. This is the third largest city in the United States.
Chicago is really the sweet spot. There's so many different diverse and large communities in pockets, and there's really a place for everyone.
We also have the lowest housing prices for a major city, way lower than LA, New York, the Pacific Northwest, Florida. Our housing prices are lower because we're just naturally in a much more insulated Midwestern region. We have a ton of opportunity with the millions and millions of people that are here and the industry that follows it.
Now, when we say Chicago, that really means Chicagoland. That covers the north suburbs, south suburbs, and the city of Chicago.
So in the township and cities around the main Chicago area, your average home value is going to be $342,000. Your high end is going to be those western townships at $420,000, and your lower end is going to be those south and southeastern townships where the average home value is $190,000. So in the northern townships, we have the average home value at $395,000. Now there is an outlier, which is the New Trier Township, which is along the coast of Chicago, where kind of it meets up against the Lake Michigan. Those home values are over $1 million. We're gonna skip over that. But the second most highest home value township is the Barrington Township, which has average home values of $720,000. So needless to say, those northern suburbs are going to be more pricey than what we're going to discuss next.
In the south and west suburbs, we see the median being around $275,000 for a home. Now in Thornton Township, that's the cheapest, and that's $155,000 in value. The highest is Lyons at $366,000.
So if you want to look at average rents in the Chicagoland area, what I did is pulled all data from past rentals in the last month that are 2 to 3 bedrooms and at least a bathroom. And I looked and saw what are things renting out for, at least when it comes to January of 2024. So what I found is that in the Chicago townships, in the main Chicago area, average rents are going for $2,200 a month. Now in those northern townships, rents are slightly lower at $2,150, and in the southern townships, southern and western suburbs, we're looking at an average rent of $1,950. Now that varies because if you're in the western suburbs, your rents are going to be closer to $2,150, $2,200 on average. But if you go to those southern eastern suburbs, you're going to find your rents be on average lower at about $1,900 a month.
Now, if you choose to buy a home, mortgages definitely do vary in price. It really depends on the purchase price of the home, the interest rates at the current time, as well as your down payment and the property taxes for the home.
If you want to just go and have fun on Google, you can use just a simple mortgage calculator to see how much you might have in savings to put down on a home. But we always recommend speaking to a qualified lender because they're going to give you the numbers for your individual financial profile. So if you're looking to buy a home and you're looking at the home values in here, you can start with a lender, and we would love to pair you with a great lender who can give you the exact monthly payment for what you're looking for.
Utilities definitely vary depending on the season of the year in Chicago. However, on average, electricity and gas are typically $100 a month each, whereas your water bill will be around $50 a month, and our Wi-Fi is about $50 to $55 per month, depending on the speed that you're looking for. You'll also want to include other things such as any sort of garbage bills that you might have, but on average for a detached home, we see your utilities coming to about $300 per month, which includes your electricity, gas, water, and garbage.
Also, local energy companies here can give you rebates, discounts, and incentives towards energy efficient appliances, insulation, or smart thermostats.
Now, if you live in the city and work in the city, you'll probably be taking the CTA, and you should definitely budget for a Ventra card. If you live in the suburbs and you work in the city, definitely be budgeting for Metro. You can look up their pricing on their website, and you should also account for needing to pay for parking at the train station parking lot unless you'll travel by foot or bike to your local train station. So if you live in the suburbs, you'll primarily be using a car to get around. Today's gas prices in the winter of 2024 are around $3.30 per gallon. To save money, you might consider a Costco membership or a gas credit card that can help you get cash back on your gas fill-ups.
The main train system downtown is called the L, and that train, you can buy monthly passes that will work at that train station across the main city of downtown, as well as bus transportation. There's monthly passes for that. They run about $100, but there's different incentives based on like if you're a student, if you're a senior citizen, so on and so forth. So look into that if you're going to be traveling around the city, because nobody likes driving in the downtown of Chicago for too long. You also have to consider, like Amber said, parking. That could be an added expense as well. So a lot of people who live downtown, they just sell their cars and they use all public transit, and students do the same thing as well.
The cost of food and groceries really varies widely depending on what your tastes are for food. So there are low-grade grocery stores such as Walmart and Aldi, which are really great favorites for Midwesterners. And then the mid-grade options like Jewel Osco or Meijer. And then the more top-tier options here would be like Whole Foods or Mariano's.
So we can't say too much about what your grocery bill would be, because this varies completely person to person, family to family. But what we find is that here in the Midwest, we see prices a little bit lower across the region versus other areas like the western or eastern areas, or even southern. So the Midwest really does have a lot of benefits when it comes to prices, and things are just generally a little bit lower here, as we're going to explain later. Anytime we travel anywhere, we find the food just doesn't stack up. I'm sorry, I've gone to a lot of places around the US, but the Chicago area really has food that's tough to beat. Some things that we love is just our pizza. We're known for our Chicago style deep dish pizza. Any kind of pizza you get in Chicago is gonna be good. Honestly, I travel to other places, their pizza is just, the quality is never as good, but we love our pizza here, our Chicago style hot dogs, so you're never gonna go hungry. If you go hungry in Chicago, it's your fault, because there's amazing food here, and we love that part about the dining experience here in the Chicagoland area.
Now, Eric, are you a Giordano's or Illuminati's fan?
Illuminati's all day.
I'm more of a Giordano's fan. I like the crust better at Giordano's. So, in the city of Chicago, Fulton Market has a lot of amazing restaurants. Now, if you're in the northern suburbs, the city of LaGrange has phenomenal food. We just ate out there. We had an Italian meal at Luca's, I think it was. Fantastic thin crust pizza, actually, and amazing, delicious pasta. Now, if you're in the south suburbs, the city of Orland Park is a great feature as well. If you just drive down LaGrange, there are tons of restaurants. The city of Orland Park actually has over 115 restaurants to eat at. So you have plenty of options throughout the Chicagoland area. We have diverse cuisine representing all different cultures. So you'll certainly find a place to have whatever your heart desires.
Any suburban Chicagoland city, pick a populated area, you're gonna find good food there. You're not gonna go wrong. If you do, you probably messed up because you should have Googled it anyway. The food is great here. You won't be disappointed. If you want to learn more about food in the south suburbs of Chicago, which is where we know best, look at our video. We just did one about the top best restaurants and best places to eat in the south suburbs of Chicago. I'm gonna link it here and you guys can go and watch that.
Now, healthcare costs definitely do range based on your own insurance coverage. However, Illinois has a lot of great healthcare, especially surrounding the city of Chicago and inside of Chicago as well. Some of the major places to receive healthcare would be Northwestern, Rush, Advocate Christ Medical Center, as well as the whole Advocate Aurora network of hospitals, and the University of Chicago. There's both larger hospitals and outpatient campuses. There are also physician group centers. There is medical and healthcare coverage really everywhere you turn here.
So if you are moving with children, you're gonna wanna look into the school district ratings. Those are really important metrics that'll tell you the quality of education you're gonna get. Now, obviously, you don't have perfect education everywhere, but there's a lot of amazing schools in this area. Now, when we go to the collegiate level, we have a lot of amazing campuses, really high renowned top colleges, such as the University of Chicago, we have DePaul, we have Columbia, we have Loyola, and we have a bunch of really, really good state schools as well. I'm gonna say from my personal experience, I was able to get a great state school education and community college education, and I graduated debt-free. So if you can find options like that through grants and scholarships, those opportunities are here. Like we said earlier, this is the third largest city in the United States. You can find everything here, and education is one of those things, absolutely, hands down. When it comes to entertainment here in the Chicagoland area, look no further because we have it all. So we have tons of golf courses, tons of forest preserves and nature preserves. We have Top Golf, we have two, one in Schaumburg and one in Naperville. City nightlife, obviously, plenty of bars and restaurants that we had already mentioned. I love the theater and Broadway scene here in the Chicago area. A lot of them are going to be centralized in the city. I saw on Google there was over 42 different theaters. Wow. I've only been to 7 of them. My personal favorite.
That's a lot.
Yeah, really. I mean, they're amazing here. My personal favorite is the Cadillac Palace Theater. It's very grand. A lot of musicals and theatrical performances are there. I think you should check that out if you've never been into theater. I think it's really great and entry level. But there's also a lot of speakeasy, underground theaters, very intimate gatherings, and great performances as well. So I wouldn't skip over those, even though they might be a little bit out of your comfort zone. They're super, super enjoyable, and you're never gonna go wrong when you see a show in Chicago.
There are tons of local public libraries that have amazing children's and adult programming available for you, typically for free. In addition, the park districts usually have amazing programs as well that you can sign up for, usually at a resident rate if you live in that town. And in addition to that, if you're maybe looking to go out on the weekend or maybe without the kiddos, there's a lot of concerts, both in the city of Chicago, such as Lollapalooza, which is very famous here, and in the suburbs, the Tinley Park Amphitheater right off of I-80 has a lineup of a ton of summer concerts that are great. We'll also see a lot of suburbs put on free concerts for the family. So in our hometown of Tinley Park, there are a variety of summer concert series that they have. Every other week we have free concert in the plaza. It's a really great time to bring the kids along and have some fun.
We have some massive concert venues such as Soldier Field, the Now Arena, the Allstate Arena, like she said, the Tinley Park Amphitheater. I'm missing a bunch of them, but a lot of large artists come and perform there, so you won't miss out. Even though you're in a big city, that doesn't mean you're not going to get any nature. If you escape the city into the Willow Springs and Palos Forest Preserve area, you'll find that Cook County has a lot of different forest preserves and a lot of nature that you can explore and enjoy. Our personal favorite is the Palos Trail system. There's a ton of cross-country mountain biking trails, so you can enjoy a really, really good workout, and you'll be surprised that you're in the flatlands of the Midwest when you ride on those trails, because they're not that easy. There's a ton of different camping spots around there as well. You'd be surprised. If you want to drive a little bit more west, you can go to Ottawa and that area.
Starved Rock is great.
Starved Rock, Nipissing State Parks. It doesn't feel like you're around Chicago or an hour and a half outside of Chicago there. Another notable thing is the Taste of Chicago. It comes every summer around middle of the summer in July. A bunch of different street vendors, food vendors, restaurants, they come out and set up a huge, huge display, and you can just buy a bunch of little tickets that you turn in. It is a little bit more pricey, but if you want to get a taste of Chicago, that's the place to go. You'll really enjoy it. I think everybody has to go at least once and find a couple of new things to try out for themselves. And who knows, you might want to go visit the restaurant and eat there and see what all the fuss is about.
I've lived in the Chicagoland area my whole entire life, and I've never even been to the Taste of Chicago. So that's just to show you there is so much to do here that you will not run out of fun things to do. Now, Chicago is definitely far more affordable than a lot of other cities across the United States. Chicago is cheaper than California, Hawaii, Miami, Boston, New York, and Seattle. It's a pretty affordable area located right in the Midwest, allowing you access to explore those areas and only be halfway in between since you're in the middle of the US.
You're gonna have more margin in your budget, which means you can save more money, invest more money into your future, into your kids' future, so people can get ahead more here than any other city, really, because of that amazing gap between the opportunities that you get here. If you're in Chicago and you can't find a job, you're not looking hard enough, in my opinion, because there are so many opportunities in this large city. So in the Chicagoland area, you can get ahead more so than if you were in a western, northeastern, or some southern cities.
Now, if you know anything about me, it's that I love budgeting and saving money. I am as frugal as can be, and some might call me a cheapskate, but I am proud of it. So I'm gonna share a few tips with you guys on how to save money living in the south suburbs, or really any of the Chicagoland area. The first is when you move here, you might need some new pieces of furniture. And I would consider myself a pro now at finding items for a fraction of the price on places like Facebook Marketplace or the thrift store like Savers or Goodwill, or the Salvation Army has a thrift store. There's also plenty of free groups on Facebook that you can join for your community where your neighbors are giving away things that they no longer need for free. All you have to do is go pick it up off their front porch or their doorstep. Now, when it comes to grocery shopping, you can certainly save money by shopping at those more affordable stores such as Walmart or Meijer or Aldi, rather than Mariano's or Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. When you're eating out, one of the tips that Eric and I like to do on our date nights is we make our entree at home and then we'll go out for dessert and drinks. It makes the price in the bill just a fraction of the price of what it could have been, but we're still getting out of the house after working at home for the day and experiencing our community.
The restaurants have figured out that they serve incredible food and they charge for it. So just because the restaurants are amazing and the cost of living is good here, that doesn't mean that you can't go out for the cheapest price possible compared to some other places. So know that you can save money by doing things like what we do.
If you're looking to save money in entertainment, you can go to the local forest preserves. They also have free programming as well for you and your family. There are libraries that have children's and adult programmings, again, usually for free. And then there's outdoor musical festivals in the summer, sponsored by your local town. There's so many fun, free things to do that you don't have to spend a lot of money to have fun.
Thanks for watching our video today on the cost of living in Chicago in 2024. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, it all helps. Give us a like on this video and comment below any other tips you have so that we can all enjoy living in Chicagoland together.
If you're thinking about making a move to the Chicagoland area, please get in touch with us. We would love to help you relocate here. You can contact us at 708-953